Hello, brothers and sisters. I would just like to start off by saying I love you all unconditionally. And this is because we are all made in the image of God, and I am no different, so how could I not love myself? Today's topic, I will be talking about vibrations, frequencies, and collective consciousness, and its direct effect on our reality and how we experience reality. I would like to speak on first a quote from the great Albert Einstein. And it goes on to say, anyone who becomes serious in the pursuit of science becomes convinced that there is a spirit manifestation in the laws of the universe. A spirit vastly superior to that of man, Albert Einstein. First, I'd like to talk about consciousness, and it is nothing more than a vibrational manifestation of spirit. Secondly, I'd like to talk about how Western science deals with the issue of consciousness. It has no idea what it is, and it does not fit into any scientific scale that they have. And the thing is that they can't disprove it, because for them to disprove it would mean to admit to themselves that they themselves are not conscious. And most intellectuals are not willing to do that, because they have a sense of themselves. They have an ego. So they know that they are conscious, but they cannot explain consciousness. And for a millennia, there has been a war on collective consciousness and vibrations. And our leaders know that if we were ever to find the scientific or research behind these things, they would no longer be able to control us. And the truth is that we are all equally creative and equally powerful. And I'm sure that most of you will say, well, then how come there are people that are more powerful than us? Well, that's simply because that power that they have does not belong to them. They stole it from us. And we're going into an evolutionary process where we are gaining back our awareness, thus we are gaining back our consciousness, and the power is coming back to us. And I'm very excited about this shift, and I can't wait to see what fruits it bears. Next thing I would like to talk about is when we are observing our own reality, we do not understand how influential that we are on our own reality. When you're observing something, you directly affect it, and you change reality when you're observing something. And this is due to human intention. The human vibration is basically the human intention, and this goes back to the understanding of science. Even a particle, an atom particle, is 99.99% nothing. The only other thing that is frequency, is vibration. So, with that understanding of science, when you see me do this, that's not actually happening. Give me 1 second. Need to get my notes. This is not actually happening. What is happening is our process to make an understanding of the reality that's going on around us. That is our intention. The only thing that's happening is my intention is trying to make sense of the reality, and your intention is trying to make sense of the reality too. So what it perceives is that the hands are touching, but we know through scientific examples that that is just not true, because I am made up of trillions and trillions of atoms, and atoms are virtually nothing. So technically, we are nothing more than intentions and vibrations of frequencies. Nextly, I just want to touch on the topic of dimensions real quick. I promised a friend that I would go more deeper into dimensions, so I'll just give you a little oversight. When you think about dimension is nothing more than vibrations, and you can shift into another dimension when you shift your frequency and intensity of vibration. And when you think about vibration, it relates to music, because a vibrational shift is nothing more than a shift in 90 degrees. And when you shift from note to note in music, that's a shift of what? Nothing more than 90 degrees. I mean, it's all around us, people. It's all around us in nature. And spirituality and science is one and the same. Atoms are made up of vibrations. I mean, everything around us is made up of vibrations. When you think about it, you can equate it to, a whole bunch of different sounds and musics. And one radio, you can use that as an example of source or God. One radio is capable of creating a multitude of sounds and musics, an infinite amount. And they're all just as diverse as we are. Yet, it comes from one source. And that is a simple way of actually understanding what source is. And the truth behind it all is, we all should have known this a long time ago. But as I said before earlier in the video, there has been a war against consciousness, because once people are conscious, they will be able to take their power back, and those who are in charge will no longer be able to exercise their own form of power. And there was a research done back in 1957 by Hans Eisenweg. It's very hard to pronounce this name, but yeah, he was a professor, and he wrote a paper on a conspiracy by 30 major universities and hundreds, maybe thousands of scientists and educators that were trying to silence the research and the facts behind the conscious mind and how it shapes and it warps reality around it. They don't want you to know that you have the power to change destiny, because if you know that you have the power to change destiny, you can take hold of your destiny and do whatever with it that you will. And they see that as a threat. And I want to go into technology and how a lot of the artificial frequencies that we have created is actually affecting us adversely psychologically and physiology. And our dimension, back in the early 1900s, they did tests, and they found out our dimension exists on a frequency of 7.23 centimeters. That's what our reality is. That's our frequency, and it's all around us. Even if you measure from eye to eye, you'll notice that it's 7.23 centimeters. You can measure the palm of your hand, and you'll find that same frequency, 7.23 centimeters, is because we're saturated in it. This is our reality. But earlier on in our century, well, in the 19th century, no, actually the 20th century, radio was created, and the people behind it noticed that the 7.23 frequency was interfering with the original frequency of radio, which was 7.35. So in order for them to bypass that, they drastically raised the frequency by an absurd amount, about maybe like 50,000 times. And that's when we started becoming very sick frequency. Yeah, and even today we have Wi-Fi waves, radio waves, microwaves, and they're all affecting us psychologically and physically, and they're affecting us in very adverse ways. Like, there's increase in so much sickness, so much different leukemias and cancer in young individuals that are supposed to be healthy, but they're not healthy because of the artificial frequencies that we're introducing into our own reality. We're introducing vibrations into our own vibrations that is messing up our vibrations, and most people don't understand it. And I'm here to inform you and let you know that you can actually protect yourself against these things. I did a video before on crystals and how they can benefit you, and it's not going to be the last video I do. Just like this will not be the last video I do on vibrations, because vibrations is everything. We are all vibration. Our spirit is a vibration. Everything, we're all vibrations, and even if you look at it on a quantum physics level, they'll explain it to you. An atom is vibration. But some of the things that you can use to protect yourself against these deadly vibrations are, types of crystals, and they can range in size from big to small. But these crystals are tower busters. Their original name is orgonite, and there's been a lot of research done around these things, and they do help protect you against the influence of negative vibrations and frequencies. I'll just show you one of these. This is an orgonite. It's made up of different layers of crystals, metals, gems, wood clippings. Let me show you. Organic and inorganic materials. So what it does, it takes in negative energy and it transfers it into positive energy. So it disrupts the frequencies. And they come in all kinds of different types and shades. This is one of my smaller ones. This is an orgonite. It's very, very small, but it's still powerful. And I have another one right here. Same thing. This is my favorite one. I showed this one in my last video. This is my rose quartz Merkaba star orgonite. See, it has the metals and the gems, and it has some wood clippings in it. That's the organic material. And what it does, it takes the frequency and it creates order through chaos. That's just a general rundown on frequency and vibrations, and how everything around us is frequency and vibrations. And if you have any questions, just give me a shout, and if I do have extras on me, and if you need it, I am willing to send you some crystals. But you can actually find these crystals on other links that I'll post below. Okay, brothers and sisters, one love.